I'm not judging the job that Joe Biden has done as president. I'll leave that to the aficionados to do, on both sides of the aisle for that matter. What I'm talking about is an individual. If you look at the tape, if you look at video, if you see him from just 4 years ago in 2020 compared to what he looks like now, yes, as Representative James Clyburn said Sunday morning on CNN, along with various other surrogates of Joe Biden, he's always had a stuttering issue. We didn't see stuttering, ladies and gentlemen. We saw brain farts.
You just came out of a fundraiser. We know that many in your party have expressed concerns about President Biden's health. Just this morning, Congressman Doggett said that he's calling on President Biden to withdraw from the race, given that there's too much at stake to risk a Trump victory. What's your response to this?
Look, Joe Biden is our nominee. We beat Trump once, and we're going to beat him again, period.
Are you ready to lead the country if necessary?
I am proud to be Joe Biden's running mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 I wanted to let y'all know that might be your new president. That might be the new president of the United States. Yes, Kamala Harris may be the president of the United States for the next 4 or 5 months, that is. Yep, the Democrat nightmare that we've been living under may indeed get worse. With all kinds of rumors swirling around, this one might actually come true. Let me take a second to break it down for you. If Dementia Joe steps down, Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. Once she is named president, she can then name the next vice president. It has been widely reported today that if she somehow ascends to the presidency, she may indeed pick Pete Buttigieg as her vice president. At that point, the United States will have its first DEI pair leading the American government. A DEI president and a DEI vice president. For the next 4 or 5 months, these two clowns would be leading America. And what an epic embarrassment that would be. Every day would be like Pride Month. Every day would be pixie dust and unicorns. We'd be in a proverbial living hell. The jokes would write themselves. If somehow Dementia Joe would indeed resign and step down, you can bet the house that the Democrats will use the next 4 or 5 months to rub our collective faces in it. And by the way, I've told you, you'll have no choice in this. There is no possible way, I've said it before, that the Democrats can jump over Kamala Harris and bring somebody else in. Jumping over Kamala Harris and bringing in another white man, or maybe a white woman, would be political suicide for the Democrats. So get ready. If Dementia Joe resigns, they're going to ram Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg down our throats. Kamala Harris camp is already pissed off that other white people are even being mentioned as successors to Dementia Joe.
It's her turn. If you don't agree, well, you're racist. Team Kamala is furious that other big Democrat names always get brought up whenever Dems talk about who should replace Joe Biden. For example, Bill Maher is calling on California Governor Gavin Newsom to run against Donald Trump. They can't stand talk like that.
No, this body should not in any way do anything to work around Ms. Harris.
Now remember, Jim Clyburn here is Dementia Joe's closest ally in politics. He is the guy who got Dementia Joe elected. And now all of a sudden he's saying, hey, listen, if for some reason Joe can't make it, we have to go with Kamala. God help us.
We should do everything we can to bolster her, whether it's in second place or at the top of the ticket.
This is classic DEI culture. Do you not understand why she was chosen in the first place? She has proven to America why DEI doesn't work. The woman has had, and I remember reading this, 28 people leave her office because she's intolerable. It's a toxic workspace. She mumbles and jumbles almost as much as Joe in her word salads. She's always laughing. You wonder why she's laughing. I won't even go there.
Because there's nothing upstairs. This woman is completely vapid. There's nothing going on. God help us. I keep saying it. I keep praying myself. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like if she becomes president. Actually, she'll just be another empty vessel like Dementia Joe that the deep state can use to do whatever they want to do.
But, you know, she was in charge of the border. She was in charge of several.
Did you know that she was the so-called border czar? Didn't do anything. Not a single thing. And there's nothing that Dementia Joe could do to basically, whoop up on her. Hey, get going out there. Nope, can't do it. Why? I'm a black woman.
Several other things. I don't know what she does all day. She has a lid on her days. This woman does not deserve to be president, but I'll tell you what, or VP, which is what we heard. But here's the thing. The Biden-Harris money belongs to Kamala Harris.
All right, let me explain that. So there's this war chest that the Democrats have amassed, $280 million, whatever that number is, some huge number. You can't give that money legally to another candidate. However, she is part of Dementia Joe's candidacy. It is the Biden-Harris candidacy. So if he goes away, she, or rather her team, controls all that money. It always boils down to money, doesn't it? Well, she controls a huge war chest. And so there's no way that the Democrats want to get rid of that money. You don't have to refund it. It follows her. She can't use it for her personal benefit, but from a political standpoint, all that money is allocated to her. This is just crazy.
That money cannot be transferred. And we're talking about a lot of money. So the Democrats have to recognize that, if they want to jump over Kamala, you made the rules, you live by them.
She's being overlooked because she didn't earn it.
Nope, she hasn't earned anything. I'm not going to talk about her past. It's not appropriate here on YouTube, but you can go look at her past. You can see how she was able to, progress in her career. You can see the different things that she did and is alleged to have done to further her career.
She was the least popular candidate in the primaries of 2020, and there were a lot of people involved.
Yeah, she got blown out. So I don't know if you guys remember that before Dementia Joe was installed, but she had to drop out of the race. I think she had like 1%. She couldn't beat anybody. She couldn't beat Mayor Pete. She couldn't beat Pete Buttigieg, whatever, however you say his name. I just call him, well, I can't say what I call him. But in any event, she couldn't beat anybody. And then Joe named her as his vice president. Great insurance policy.
So there's a sense that, as what happens with DEI, unfortunately, even if you are qualified, people are skeptical how you got there. For bureaucrats, it's really easy to hire for diversity and equity. All you got to do is look at them, hire them, you get promoted. But it's hard and almost impossible to fire that hire if they're a disaster, because then lawyers get involved and they call you racist. And when you've established no expectation for competence, and all it is race and gender.
I love that. No expectation of competence. Your only attribute that got you to the job, well, she's got another attribute. Yeah, she's got another one. But the main attribute that she has for this job is because she's a black woman.
You don't really push that person to do well. She didn't have to really do anything but show up and smile, and that's the problem. So what do you replace her with? It's got to be like a one-to-one move. You can't do a straight white male. In identity poker, that's like trying to beat a royal flush with a 2 and a 3. So
the only person, and she's already declined it too, and we don't know who's playing games and what's true right now, but Michelle Obama would be the only logical choice that they could jump over Kamala with. That would take a lot of doing. But Michelle Obama already came out today and said, nope, I don't want it.
If you can't find a Kamala replacement, you're screwed. And with DEI hiring, in which demand exceeds supply, always. That's just the way it is. You're not going to find another Kamala. Now, somebody suggested Gretchen Whitmer. Maybe she could show up at the August convention. But I think she has a kidnapping scheduled for that week.
If you guys don't know that reference, supposedly the feds, basically hatched a kidnapping scheme around Gretchen Whitmer. But I'm not going to go in on that right now, but just look that up as well. The Democrats have made a mockery of our government. And now, here we are. Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, he pretty much demanded that Biden get out of the race. And unfortunately for him, he also mentioned the usual suspects as possible replacements for Dementia Joe. But then he had this militant guest on his show that absolutely destroyed him for even thinking that a white man or a white woman should be installed above Kamala.
I'm not judging the job that Joe Biden has done as president. I'll leave that to the aficionados to do, on both sides of the aisle for that matter. What I'm talking about is an individual. If you look at the tape, if you look at video, if you see him from just 4 years ago in 2020 compared to what he looks like now, yes, as Representative James Clyburn said Sunday morning on CNN, along with various other surrogates of Joe Biden, he's always had a stuttering issue. We didn't see stuttering, ladies and gentlemen. We saw brain farts.
Brain farts. Oh my God. He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. What we have been seeing are brain farts. There's nothing to do with stuttering whatsoever.
Because there are plenty of people in their 70s and their 80s that are sharp as a tack. Joe Biden doesn't appear to be one of them.
No, he doesn't. He's not one of them. So this lady here, who he had on as a guest of his show, this is just comedy. This right here just blows me away. You got to hear what she says to him.
Why are we looking at Joe Biden and saying 4 more years? That is the subject, Ariva.
Okay, and let me tell you why. I'm glad you raised those points. Here is why. Because when you all being all you folks that want to replace Joe Biden,
Okay, so now she's going after him because all y'all people that want to replace Joe Biden, which you're one of them, Stephen A. Smith. I know you invited me on your show. I know you wanted me to behave myself, but I got to call you out, she says.
had an opportunity to pick the black woman, Kamala Harris, to pick a gay guy, Pete Buttigieg.
You had the opportunity. People like Stephen A. Smith, y'all don't even know. You had the opportunity to pick a black woman. You didn't. You had the opportunity to pick a gay guy. You didn't. And Stephen A's like, what are you talking about? This is my show. What do you mean coming on my show and saying I had the opportunity to pick a black woman and a gay guy and I didn't? I didn't know those were the qualifications for the job. You see how these people are? She didn't say best man, best woman for the job. You had the opportunity to bring in a black woman to help get a black woman elected, but you didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was my job requirement. And you had the opportunity to, bring in and help get a gay man elected, and you didn't. But he didn't have any experience. So what the heck are you talking about?
To pick a Latino when they were all running against Joe Biden.
Look at Stephen A's face. I'm not a huge Stephen A. fan, but he looks like, what? What are you talking about?
In 2020, guess what? Kamala Harris couldn't even get to the general election because folks would not support her. They would not give money to her campaign.
I didn't know people had to give money to Kamala Harris. I didn't know it was a bad thing that people didn't support a candidate and that they supported the candidate that they wanted. I don't agree that people supported Dementia Joe, but it's their right to support whoever they want. Remember what he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, she's saying if you ain't black if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And I guess you're not gay if you didn't vote for, Pete Buttigieg. So Stephen A. got blindsided with this guest.
Drop out before the California primary. Y'all got selective amnesia. So don't tell me you
got selective amnesia.
Want Kamala Harris to be your president. When Kamala Harris ran for president, she could not get the support even of black folks in our community.
Hey, here's the hint, lady. She ain't gonna get it again. I mean, just so you guys know, how much just tell you. She's gonna get, for re-election, should she be installed, she'll get some of the black women to vote for her. She ain't getting the black men. I'm telling you that right now. She didn't get it before. She ain't gonna get it now. Most black men ain't gonna want no Kamala Harris as president. I'm sorry. Ain't happening. Y'all can go ahead and beat your drums and get pissed all you want. Most black men will not vote for for Kamala Harris. So some of you guys may be asking, hey, Barry, why not? I'm going to leave that for another video. But trust me, in the hood, in some of these areas, it is a heavy patriarchal man first ideology. Don't doubt me on this. I'm telling you, this is something that is not changing. They have not been able to change that demographic. They've changed it with some of the transformers and the gays, but for the most part, in the black community, in the Hispanic community, they are not going to vote for a woman as president of the United States. Ain't gonna happen. I'll challenge anybody to debate me on that. Ain't gonna happen. It's bred deep in the black culture.
First of all, Stephen, who are we agreeing? There's a long list of Democrats. Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. The list goes on and on and on. You've named 4 or 5 people. Where is their consensus? You've got to build consensus, and there is not consensus right now. If you pick a white man over Kamala Harris, black women, I can tell you this, we're going to walk away, we're going to blow the party up.
Oh, who told you that? Now understand, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Who told you that for weeks now? Go ahead, leave a comment. Better let me know. Who has been telling you for weeks now, if you try to jump over Kamala Harris, you're basically committing suicide as the Democratic Party? Ain't gonna happen. These black women will revolt. You will lose even more of the black vote. They are in such a quandary that they're gonna thrust this thing upon us, and then they're gonna try and basically build a coalition around her. That ain't gonna work. You can bring I understand Michelle Obama is trying to raise money for Kamala. Raise all the money you want. It ain't gonna happen long term. Enjoy your 4 months, but it ain't gonna happen. And now this woman just went off on Stephen A. Where was you? Where were you? Why weren't you supporting the black woman? He didn't expect that.
If you pick the black woman,
Where you gonna walk away to, Ariva? Where you gonna walk away to? You gonna walk away? You ain't gonna walk away to Trump?
They're stuck. They are absolutely stuck. And Stephen A. is 100% right. Where you gonna walk away to? Where are you going to take them Kamala Harris voters? You ain't going to vote for Trump. We know you ain't going to vote for Trump. So you're stuck. The Democrat Party knows that too. They know you ain't going nowhere. You can't control the men, but the women who want to get in, behind Kamala Harris, they're not going to go anywhere. Now, I just want you to understand, I don't believe for a second that Cackles could beat Donald Trump in the election. But what scares me is how bad the Democrats can completely screw up this country in the next 4 or 5 months. I'm also worried about what our enemies might think. Kamala Harris can forget negotiating with some of those Middle East countries. They're not too keen on women leaders. And they're even less keen on guys like Pete Buttigieg, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. They want nothing to do with that ideology. So God help us. This country is completely screwed right now. But for now, Dementia Joe is fighting back. Well, at least maybe Hunter and Jill are. He put out a statement tonight and said, I ain't going anywhere. Here's the statement he put out. I'm running. Folks, let me be clear. I'm running. I'm the Democratic Party nominee. No one is pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I'm in this race to the end, and we are going to win this election. If that's all you need to hear, pitch in a few bucks to help Kamala and me defeat Donald Trump in November. So he says he ain't going anywhere. That may change imminently. It may change in a month, but as of right now, Dementia Joe says, I'm in it to win it. I'm going to fight. I'm not letting Kamala get the throne. Meanwhile, Kamala's team is out here just leaking all over to the press. It's an absolute nightmare. It's a quagmire. It's a dumpster fire on steroids at this point. But remember, Kamala Harris has also got her own problems. She has been a part of the cover-up for Dementia Joe for years. I don't know how she's going to stand up to the press and Donald Trump should she be installed when everybody knows that she's been a part of this massive cover-up to keep Dementia Joe in place. She's been covering for Dementia Joe throughout the entire primary season, and even this past week when everything really blew up after the debates, she still has been covering for Dementia Joe. Kamala Harris has openly lied to the American people, and everybody can prove it. over and over and over, she has affirmatively said that he's doing great, he's fine. But yet now, she demands, if Dementia Joe steps aside, that she should be his replacement? You're telling me she should be rewarded for her diabolical participation in the gaslighting of America simply because she's a black woman who's not really black? Then again, I don't think she identifies as a woman. Who knows what she identifies as in the Democrat Party? But you can bet everything that she will use her race and her gender to attack Trump. Criticizing Kamala Harris will be completely off limits. The Democrats and the media will work together to make sure that nobody, especially a white guy like Donald Trump, you won't be able to criticize Kamala Harris. Good luck with that. These people are sick. They are absolutely sick. As I said, it's a dumpster fire on steroids, and they should be voted out of existence come November. In the meantime, pray for America and steady yourself for what's coming.